Danny Guselli.
So we are joined by Erwin Arends. Now, every single person who has run the Comrades has a different story as to why they are running the Comrades. And I would love to hear your story. But the man that has joined us today has a fascinating story. And I'm hoping that it's a story that can really, really give you perspective on life. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today. Tell us how it all started, if we can start from the very beginning.
Thank you very much for having me. It basically started with a few family problems I might have had. And with my wife's help, I managed to get into an inpatient program that assisted me with alcohol abuse. And during my time in the rehab center, I was able to use a swimming pool because I was there for 3 weeks. I was able to use a swimming pool to just run around. I wasn't even a runner at the time, so I was running around a swimming pool and exercising within the rehab center. And after 3 weeks of doing that every morning, I felt the need to continue doing what I was doing, so just to create a new habit and kill the old one. And basically that's how it started, and eventually I was road running.
Let's just backtrack just a little bit here, going into alcoholism. And if you don't want to get too personal, I fully understand that. But what made you turn to alcohol in the first place?
I think every alcoholic has a different story, but we tend to believe that it's affected or influenced by a certain trauma you may have experienced, whether as a child or late childhood. But it always stems from something. And it's just a matter of finding out what that is. And I think I'm still trying to find that out myself. But I think I'm on a better path now to actually dig deep into myself and uncover what I may be looking for, I should say.
And at what point did you realize alcohol wasn't your stress relief anymore, it was your coping system?
I think being away from my family for about 4 years forced me to into alcoholism or into using alcohol incorrectly to cope on a day-to-day basis. But what was baffling is that once I had moved to my family, I couldn't get out of the daily drinking and abuse of alcohol. So I think it was at that point where I realized that I'm actually ruining what I've been waiting for 4 years, because I'd been away from them for so long that by the time I'm with them, I'm still living with the same problem. So it was influencing my daily life. So I did need to get out.
Now, do you think you were hiding it well, or just surrounded by people who didn't ask the right questions? Were you a functioning alcoholic at the time?
I think because it didn't influence or affect my work much, I think I was hiding it well. But the people you cannot hide it from are the people you love and the people that love you. So it would be very hard to hide such from your family.
Now, you've got your beautiful wife with you here today. I just want to ask you from your perspective, and I know you weren't supposed to be a part of this chat today, so thank you for being open to it.
No problem.
This must have been such a hard topic to approach. You know, there's someone you love, your husband, your man, the person you chose in your life as your life partner. And all of a sudden you see that your husband has turned to alcohol. How did you notice it? How did it make you feel? And how did you approach it?
I'd say that the funny thing is that when you start younger, or the alcoholism shows up at a younger age, you assume that's what everybody else is doing. You know, you don't kind of separate the issue to say that there's drinking alcohol on a normal level and then there's drinking alcohol on an alcoholic level. So I think earlier on, I just assumed that things would get better, or as we're growing, our family's growing, you know, our responsibilities are growing, the drinking would decrease, but it didn't. So eventually I reached a point where I was like, you know what, if it's going to affect my children, then I need to do something. This is not normal anymore, you know. And I have one specific incident where he went out drinking with a friend that is a family friend. So they could have stayed in the house, but they didn't, and the children were left alone. So it's like those specific alarm bell moments that you would have that say that this is now turning away from a social drinking thing, let's just chill and have a drink situation, to I can't discern anymore where it puts another person in danger.
Now, that must have been an incredibly hard pill to swallow. I mean, you're married to the love of your life and then this happens. Did you end up giving your husband an ultimatum?
Oh, yes, I did.
And how did that conversation go? Like, what was that impactful sentence that changed everything?
I think after an incident, I sat him down and I said that, I love you so much that I can say, listen, you go and do what you feel you need to do with your friends and your soccer playing buddies, and rather let me not be the person who's holding you back from what you really want to do, because you, as a partner, you assume that they're having the time of their life when it's actually not the case.
Sure.
So I gave him 3 choices. It was that, or we go to marriage counseling, and he goes to rehab,
Okay.
And he chose rehab. So for me, I was like, okay, maybe a blessing in disguise. It did not feel like that. It just felt like everyone drinks that we know.
Yeah.
Yet my husband is the one person who seems not to be able to handle it well. And because I didn't want him to feel like he's doing it for me, I asked him before he went, I'm like, babe, when you sit down and drink, do you, like, maybe after a 6-pack, get to a point where you're like, oof, I need to stop. I don't feel well. And he said no. Okay. For me, that was the most defining moment where I felt like this is no longer something I can assist with. It's no longer something I can control or fix.
Do you know what the scary thing is? There's probably so many people right now who are going through something so similar and listening to this and relating. So I respect you so much for giving your husband that ultimatum, because ultimately you want the best for your relationship and your kids.
Yes.
Owen, I have to just tell you that I'm so incredibly proud that you made the decision to turn your life around. When your beautiful wife gave you this ultimatum, what's the first thing that went through your head?
I think with the 3 options that she was giving me, my worst fear was losing my family. So there was no way I would have gone back to my friends as an option. And the counseling, obviously, I was not mentally there. I was physically in the counseling sessions that we were attending. So the only reasonable thing to do was to get myself institutionalized, if I may say, within the rehab center. But I didn't see that working out that way, because you have to do an assessment before you go through rehab, right? And I was anticipating that they'd say that I didn't fit the criteria to be an inpatient. So I anticipated that maybe I would be a day-to-day kind of patient within that facility. And I was shocked when they told me that I'm deemed fit as an inpatient. So that's how I went about it, and I checked myself in for the 3 weeks just to save my position in my family.
In the beginning, you mentioned a pool. And I think the pool has a significant meaning behind where we're going to with this story. Tell me about the pool, running around the pool, and how that materialized.
Yeah, so the pool story, I basically had no other space to exercise because I needed to free my mind of the time that I was spending in the facility. So instead of drowning in the alcohol, I was using the swimming pool to drown my concerns of actually leaving the facility afterwards. So from there, I felt clear-minded. That fog was leaving me slowly, that mental fog. And that's what actually started the fitness journey for me. And I just took it a bit too far now.
When you say too far, you're talking about 90 kilometers.
90 kilometers far.
So you ran the Comrades last year.
That's right.
You didn't finish. What happened?
Interesting story. I think my wife knows it better than I do, because I was losing my mind on the way. But coming down Fields Hill, I had already had blisters under both my feet, simply because I didn't take advice that I had been given to not use brand new socks.
Okay.
And so by the time I got to the bottom of Fields Hill, my wife was waiting for me, as she always is. And she wanted to see how bad these blisters were, because we were communicating the whole way. And one of the blisters burst just before I got to her. So it was kind of sticking to my shoe. The sock was sticking to my shoe, and we had to take it off. But after patching me up, she told me to keep going. I tried to stand up, and I couldn't stand on my left foot anymore. So luckily, my sister was there, and she's like, "No, you've had enough." And I called it quits at Pinetown at the end of Fields Hill.
So there you are, realization loud that you can't finish the Comrades. Psychologically, that must be such a hard pill to swallow.
On the road, no. It's such a relief to get off that tar. But the days that follow, it's like you fall into a certain depression. You just don't want to get out of bed. You rerun the race in your head all the way to where I stopped or where I got off the race.
So, Erwin, how did you then get out of that depressive state and go, you know what, I'm going to be positive. I've worked so hard. I've been through so much. I've fixed my marriage. I've conquered rehab, and I'm going to do Comrades again.
The mentality that my wife has, I was back on the road probably 2 weeks after Comrades, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
We were back at the Westville Athletics Club.
She was cracking the whip.
And she runs with me, so it's not easy to back out and say you're not going back. And you lose momentum easier if you stay off longer. So we were back at it almost immediately and looking for qualifier for this year.
So what are you going to do differently? Of course, you're not going to wear new socks, right? But are you approaching it differently? Maybe it's food, maybe it's carbo loading. What is the strat?
Yeah, I think with each year, you learn what you probably didn't know the previous year. And the eating has changed this year. I've got 2 pairs of socks this year, and I plan to make use of them. Should I experience anything uncomfortable, I immediately attend to it while it's happening instead of waiting until it's too late. I think I'm ready gear-wise, I'm ready mentally, I'm ready physically for the finish this year, as hard as it is going up to PMB.
Well, I must be honest, I'm looking at you now and I'm like, hey, I need to get to gym because you are looking sharp. You look ready for that race. I just want to backtrack here, just to a psychological element here. Do you think that your wife saved your life or forced you to save yourself?
The blessing of marriage, right? My higher power has put me into marriage to be saved, whether it's by my wife or it doesn't matter who's saving me right now, but I don't think I'd be where I am. I wouldn't even be on East Coast Radio if I was not with my wife. She pushes me in the right direction, so I would have missed huge opportunities if it wasn't for her. But with the changed mentality, I'm able to make good choices for myself, and I think that's why I'm doing it again. That's why I'm going back on the road and going there to complete the marathon this time.
I look at you and your wife, and I've had an opportunity to see you since you walked in the building, and I just see love, passion, compassion, and it's beautiful to see. And I feel like a lot of youngsters it's just too easy to call it quits. And you are a shining light and an example to a lot of marriages that when something goes wrong, there's an opportunity to fix it. And yeah, it's tough and nothing's easy, but you got to persevere and push through. So if there's someone listening right now knowing they are in the same place you were and absolutely cannot see the lights at the end of the tunnel and don't think that they can achieve what you have, what is your message to them?
I can paint a picture of a trough and a crest, where the ocean pushes waves back and forth. 1 minute you're on the wave, 1 minute you're under the wave. So it's just a matter of persevering through whatever you're going through and seeing it through to the end, because it's totally different when you're doing things alone. You can easily give up and just call it quits and start something new. But when you're with someone, you find different reasons to complete what you've started. And for someone who's going through what we've been through, it's easier to hold each other's hands and try and persevere through difficulty. And there's always a solution to something as well. But that's the best way I can respond to that.
What is the second attempt really about? Be honest. Is it finishing a race or finishing a chapter of your life properly?
I'd say it's both, because finishing that race means that I come back for the 100 Comrades and get my back-to-back medals. But also the pride that I want to restore and bring back to my family. They'll be so excited to see me cross that finish line. So it's not just for me. It would be easy to say that I'm doing this for me, but it has a lot to do with my sense of pride, and I want to make my family proud by crossing that finish line.
And they will be so proud. I'm sure you can picture the look on your kids' faces and your wife's face. Now, if another man was listening right now who is where you were, what would you want to say to him without sugarcoating it at all?
There's a very shortcut to finishing one's life, and we tend to think that we can stop alcoholism when we feel like stopping, but you're just bound to relapse or fall back into the trap once more, because we missed one element that we may overlook. It's the education behind alcoholism. You will not get that education anywhere in your own head. So the difference between stopping the drinking and going to rehab is that it's that educational part of it. Without the education, you don't know what problem you are looking at in terms of alcoholism.
Very often, people who suffer from drug addiction or alcoholism, they hear a story like yours, but they're like, yeah, but where do I go? So maybe you want to do a quick shout out to your rehab center.
So the assistance that I got was from Sanka Lulama in Musgrave. I did an assessment. It was a very quick 45 minutes assessment that deemed me fit for an inpatient program. And they spend about 8 hours per day for the 3 weeks that you're there, educating you on your disease, because that's what it is. It's a disease. And with that education, you're able to come out of there making more solid decisions about the life that you're about to live after kicking the habit, because it only takes those three weeks to kick it and to start a new one.
Erwin, what do you understand about yourself now that you wish you knew back then?
Perseverance. I had no idea that I could persevere so much, and it was one of the nicest things my wife has ever said to me, that she had no idea that I could push myself to such limits. And she said to me that this is the one thing that nobody can take away from you. And yeah, it's just stuck. It's stuck with me. It's stuck with me.
You're going to smash the Comrades. I'm going to be at the top of Polly's, and I'm going to be cheering you on and making sure that you don't wear new socks. Mpume, I want you to do something for me. I want you to come into this mic, but I want Erwin to stand right here, and I want you to look him in the eyes. And I want this to be the most beautiful moment. And I want you, from your heart right now, and I'm going to step aside, to just give him a message, something that means so much after everything you've been through, and maybe a message of encouragement and how proud you are of him.
Okay. I'm your number one supporter and fan. On top of the perseverance, I really admire the mental fortitude it has taken for you to not only qualify once, but twice for Comrades. I joke and say you need to start and finish. But just showing up for yourself and telling yourself that I can do it has been such a nice thing to watch, where it's given you redirection in life. I sometimes don't want you to keep referring to my wife, because I believe that so much of it is coming from you. I may be a catalyst, I may be a safe landing space, but all of it is you. It's you. It's your legs, not mine. And your heart, your mental strength that is going to take you through. And I love you.
Thank you. My socks.
And your socks.
Danny Guselli, While You Work, East Coast Radio.